to starting this problem, the students would have identified the fact that Sean sold 4 boxes, that they know that the sum was 22. They know the missing information is that we need to find out how many boxes Marta sold, and that our keyword is sum. So we talk about what does the word sum mean. Sum means to do add. So we take a look at the problem and I say, okay, if I just gave you this problem and I told you could go about solving it any way, how would you do it? And so the students would write down, well, they would do 22 minus 4, and they would get 18. So I say to them, okay, well now in order to write our equation, we have to look at what's happening to our solution. So I set it up something like this. I put our equal sign, then I draw our mirror line here, and I say, okay, well if you subtracted 4 on this side, that means you subtracted 4 on this side. And in order for me to subtract 4 from both sides, what has to happen to my equation? And they'll tell me you have to add 4. And then we take in and put in our missing variable. So our equation is m plus 4 equals 22, and we already have it solved. And this helps them really kind of see how to write the equation so that they can identify how to find their solution. Okay, same here. The students have already identified what was missing. Elizabeth's age, we saw the keyword twice, and we know Eric is 15. So I say to them again, how would you solve this problem? And so they said, well, we would do, 15 times 2. And I said, okay, so we all know that the answer is 30. So we'll put an equal sign here. And then I draw our mirror line. And I said, well, in order for us to times 2 on this side, we had to times 2 on this side. And then I say to them, well, what did we have to do with our equation in order for us to multiply by 2? They would tell me you'd have to do E divided by 2, where E stands for Elizabeth's age. And then we have our problem set up. So our equation is E divided by 2 has to equal 15. And it was a little bit difficult sometimes for them to visualize, especially this one. So what I did was I said, okay, let's take a look where the equation is. And so I would erase our work. Oops, I erased our 15 there. And we have E divided by 2 is 15. So we did the work prior, but on the whiteboard I just erased it so that they could actually see the equation, because that's our goal here, is to write the equation. So again, we looked at this one. Raul and his friends went out, 3 friends went out to eat. So I say to them, how many people went out to eat? They would tell me 4. So they're getting very good at picking up on that, being mathematically precise. And their bill was $40. How much would each person pay? So for this problem, again, I tell them, go ahead and solve it. So they would go ahead and tell me, well, I have to do 40 divided by 4. And we know each person had to pay $10. So we would put our equal sign here and our mirror image. So if I divided by 4 on this side, that means I divided by 4 on this side. So I set up the mirror image, flipping it back. So in order for us to divide by 4, what did we have to do? In order to find it, we had to take 4 and multiply it by I think we put P for pay so that they can see it. So then again, in order for them to see the actual equation, I went ahead and erased our work so they could see it was 4P equals 40. This one was a bit of a stumper because in order to solve it, they thought they had to subtract. So we went back and kind of picked apart. We said, Janine, who bought $15 worth of makeup, spent $6 less than Leah. So I said, who spent more money on the makeup? And they tell me Leah. I said, so then our answer needs to be more. So then they went ahead and they set up their solution as 15 plus 6. So one more time, we draw our equal sign in our mirror image. So if I added 6 to one side, that means I have to add 6 to the other side. In order to add 6, that means my equation had to subtract 6 because that's the inverse. And then we would put, I told them we don't usually use L for a variable, so we used X. X minus 6 is 15. And if you needed to, you could always go back and erase the work so that they can actually see the equation that matches this situation.